What's up, guys? Dominic Abassi here for the British Columbia Football Conference. And man, you blink and it's over. Week 9 already behind us as we head into the final week of the BCFC's regular season campaign. Hey, who went off in Week 9? I'm going to tell you. I know he's already been given the Player of the Week award, and I try and point out guys who didn't get picked for Player of the Week nods, but Robbie Rodriguez for the Okanagan Sun averaged 11 yards per carry, went for over 180 against that Rams defense for the Sun. I think that deserves double mention. Sun quarterback Nick Wenman also scored 3 touchdowns with his legs in that game as he continues to have an incredible season in place of Keith Zyla, who we keep talking about as being the Sun starter, but Nick Wenman just keeps getting the job done over and over again. Unfortunately, I just don't know if he's going to be in the conversation for some All-Star selections, but that's another topic that's going on at this time of year as well, as coaches and league officials are starting to discuss who deserves to be on the All-Star team for the BCFC this season. Travis Novak from the Raiders defense racked up an impressive 21 defensive points in a win against the Kamloops Broncos. And Desmond Jeanson, I've mentioned him a few times. This young rookie out of Winnipeg just keeps doing his thing for that Huskers defense. To be fair, they're on the field quite often, but he's got the energy and the stamina to keep making plays. 17 defensive points for him in his game. Week 10 sets up as an absolute gem. I'm told it's Dino Bernardo, the executive of the Kamloops Broncos, who's to credit for this incredible schedule, as we'll have rematches of Week 1 and Week 10, and all of them have meaning, all of them have some intrigue, and all for different reasons. I wouldn't normally be very excited about a game featuring two teams that have combined for one victory this entire season, but this Broncos-Huskers game in Chilliwack, very interesting. I have to admit, and I usually try and play this pretty much down the middle, try and be unbiased with this, but I'm pulling for the Huskers here. I'm sorry, Broncos fans. I'm sorry, Brad Umoka and your players up there, but I just really feel for this Huskers organization, and I think this team with Bob Reist and this group of kids they have, they deserve a win. They've worked their asses off this season. They've also had their asses whooped a few times as well, and I think they deserve a little reward for all of the work they've put in, but that's not how football works. You have to go out there and earn a victory. So we'll see if the Huskers can do that. Now, the Broncos are still the favorites. They beat Valley in Week 1 by 33 points. So this is a game that Kamloops should be able to win if they show up. I expect this to be a hard-fought game, and considering the season has been over for both of these teams for a while, that's pretty exciting and should be fun to see. Kickoff 1 o'clock at Exhibition Stadium. The Raiders host the Rams at 1 o'clock at Caledonia Park. Now, there's nothing really on the line here, but again, another fun one. These two teams have had something going on for the last number of years. There seems to be a really nice natural rivalry that has developed between these two clubs. I'm not entirely sure what sparked it or what there is there. It's not a Rebels-Raiders rivalry, but there's something between these teams. And the Rams, I would expect, will remember a Week 1 loss at home to the Raiders, which for me really set this team up for a pretty underwhelming season. I think that they were expecting to go into Week 1 and win at home. They didn't, and it never really seemed to get on track for Langley. No impact on the standings here. The Raiders will finish 3rd, and the Rams will finish 4th. We know that. But for me, Langley absolutely has to prove they can beat another team in this league other than Valley or Kamloops, where they're a veritable write-off in round 1 of the playoffs. I mean, how do you go into the postseason with any sort of positive mindset there? That would be a coaching masterpiece if that could be put together. For the Raiders, quarterback Jake LeBerge has thrown all of 4 passes since week number 7. I'm told he's dealing with some injury issues, but he needs to feel confident and needs to get his mojo going coming into playoffs. So will he play? Will he perform well? That's still yet to be seen. Two teams, I think, with some messages to send and some things to prove to themselves. This should be a hard-fought game. 1 o'clock, Caledonia Park in Nanaimo. And then the finale of the season. A beauty, a dandy. We've been looking forward to this game. I know I have for several weeks. I mean, this has been circled really since week number 1. A first-place showdown in West Shore between the Rebels and the Okanagan Sun. Winner takes all here. And they will have that coveted home field advantage through the postseason as well. And the way the Rebels are playing at home and what we know about Okanagan in the Apple Bowl, traditionally, it's going to be huge. Which team is going to have the potential of hosting the Cullen Cup if it ends up playing out that way. Now, this game has pretty much everything you want to see. Fantastic Okanagan Sun defense against that Rebels high-flying, high-powered offense. Then you've got the Sun offense, which has a lot of great pieces to it. Robbie Rodriguez is running the ball great. They've got a deep receiving core. The Rebels defense can be nasty, and they can really fly around. Great matchups on both sides of the ball. So much on the line. All of the memories of week 1 where the Sun came back from behind to beat the Rebels 19-15 up in the Apple Bowl. Memories of last year's Cullen Cup game, which ended up being a pretty decisive win for the West Shore Rebels. You know, even if Ben McCauley won't ever say it, he's such a safe coach with his comments, and I don't blame him for that. You know the Sun organization does not like that they lost that Cullen Cup game to the Rebels, and they want to get back and beat them every chance that they can possibly get, including this weekend. Can Charlie Cardelicchia live up to his prediction, his bold prediction in the media that his team was going to go 9-1 and take the British Columbia Football Conference? Do the Sun have enough emotion to rise to the table and the level that the Rebels will be at? And can the Rebels keep their penalty yards under like 250 yards? And prove that they're a disciplined enough team to win in the really big games against the really good teams? Or do they continue to do what they do and maybe outplay that lack of discipline? So many questions, so many great storylines. I can't wait for them all to be answered after this one. Kickoff in this can't-miss game, 7 o'clock from West Hills Stadium. Keep it locked on bcfctv.com. You won't miss a second of action this weekend. And, of course, all postseason as we head into the quest for the Cullen Cup coming up shortly here. Follow us on social media for all of the latest on Facebook and Twitter as well. For the British Columbia Football Conference, I'm Dominic Abassi.